welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Corinne Burkhart, and I am the founder, author, and editor of SlayAtHomeMother.com, as well as SlayAtHomePlanners.com. And today I will be unboxing and doing a quick product testing of the xTool M1 3-in-1 cutting machine. It is both a blade cutter and a laser cutter. You can cut vinyl, wood, and also engrave wood on this machine. This laser machine is lightweight at only 22 pounds and is perfect as a hobby laser, a small business laser, just a laser cutting machine to test out to see if laser cutting and engraving is right for you. I'm going to show you exactly how small this is, and it's not too small, it's just not a industrial size laser cutting machine by any means, but it's definitely a great entry level laser to try. The machine that I'm featuring is the xTool M1 10-watt machine. I also have their smoke purifier. I am in Michigan in the Midwest, snowy outside and really cold, so venting outside of a window isn't really an option for me at this time. So the smoke purifier allows the machine to filter the smoke and the odor out of the vent through the back of the machine into the smoke purifier with filters present, so that way you can get rid of the fumes and odors and smoke from your project as you're cutting and still be able to perform that indoors. I'm going to be showing you multiple projects today with wood, vinyl, engraving, just different things that we can do with unboxing this machine to show you its true capabilities. So first I'm going to unbox the M1. This came really nicely packaged. I was really impressed by just how much packaging was surrounding the entire box, and even inside of the box how everything was packaged was just beautifully done. So I'm just going to show you everything that's in the box, all the materials that came with my deluxe package, and then I'll move on into creating and crafting with this machine. You'll notice that it comes with a fabric grip mat and a light grip mat for cutting fabric like leather as well as vinyl, and it is sticky on both sides. And now I'm going to open up the premium material package. This package includes some wood tags. You can see there are plenty of them. These are great for test cuts or for just figuring out the settings on your machine. There's so many that are included. A canvas tote bag, and then other premium materials like pine coasters, stone coasters, stainless steel tags that you can engrave for any pets that you have, 3mm basswood, and vinyl. Now I'm going to unwrap the M1. It's just wrapped in some plastic, so I'm going to take all of that off and take off the top film as well. But first we're going to open up the machine and look inside. Here's a letter from the CEO thanking you for choosing xTool. Once we lift that piece up, we can see the exhaust pipe, which I will show you how I'm going to put that on in this video. Some power cords, replacement blades for the blade cutting tool that is equipped on this machine, as well as some lubricant and additional plugs for connecting the laser cutting machine to your laptop. Now this is going to be for the exhaust fan outside to attach it. I'm going to go ahead and take off the protective film on the top of the machine. It's only on the top, not on the underside, so you don't have to worry about taking a film off of the underside. Here's what the back looks like. Here's how the exhaust is attached here with this prong type clamp, so it's secured on there, and these 4 screws were really easy to just put on there with this base plate here on the back. And here are the different plugs and the power switch here on the back. Here's what the xTool machine looks like. It's very lightweight. I can pick it up pretty easily. No heavier than my toddler. And it has a special top that filters out the blue light from the laser, which is really nice, so you can look down in on your project as you're cutting and lasering and not have to worry about your eyesight. This machine also lifts and has risers that came with my machine. I'll show you what that looks like, so that way you can engrave and cut larger projects. Or if you would like to do a tumbler with the rotary attachment, which I also have, I'm going to wait to test out the rotary attachment in another video, which after I do that, I'll link it in the description below for you to check out. But I want to test out some simple projects since this is my very first laser. Let's take a quick look inside. Here is the inside of the machine. It has a nice metal bottom that's held in by 5 screws. Here is the blade housing for the cutting blade you'll need for leather and fabric and vinyl. It is held in by a magnet, so you just place it right there. Now I'm going to unbox the xTool smoke purifier. This is going to enable me to remove smoke and odors from the machine and filter those odors and fumes into filters through the smoke purifier while I am cutting indoors. So this is really great, especially if you live in the Midwest. You don't want to be filtering out through a window while it is 17 degrees outside like it is today. This, when I unboxed it, was heavier and sturdier than I thought it was going to be. I honestly thought it was going to be a lot more lightweight and maybe even a little flimsy, but this thing feels really well built and sturdy, and it comes on 4 wheels where it can easily wheel back and forth for easy positioning. So if you ever need to move it, it's super easy and lightweight to move. By the way, this is what that smoke purifier sounds like. As I'm filming this video, it's around Christmas time, so this will come out after Christmas time, but the different projects that I have in mind are for my mother-in-law, for my children's stockings, different things that I can use around the holidays that I'll need. For this first cut, I'm going to use these triangular prisms in the bottom of the machine just to create that optimum airflow underneath. First, I'm going to try to make some pine coasters. These came in the premium material package with my machine, but I'm just going to go into the xTool Creative Space program and add in some text. What's really cool is I can use the text that I have imported on my computer already. So if you want to go to like DaFont or another Google Fonts or wherever and download specialty fonts onto your computer, your xTool Creative Space program is going to recognize those fonts and you're able to use them in your design, which I thought was really cool. So I'm just going to put our last name, so the Burkharts, and then 2023. And here I'm going to select engrave, and I'm going to use the xTool selected reference. So you'll see that little green check mark right below the output button. And for each element, I want to select engrave. So that way I'm not scoring, I'm not cutting, but I'm engraving. And the pine coaster, so I have laser flat, pine coaster, thickness selected, everything is good to go. That engraving is just gorgeous on these pine coasters. Wow. I'm impressed. These came out so great and they were so easy to execute. I could see these making a wonderful wedding gift, housewarming gift, Christmas gift, engagement present. These are just like, how awesome is that? And you really just need to engrave using the custom settings that are already input into the machine programming software and you're good to go. These are just awesome. I love how they turned out. Next, I'm going to engrave a dog tag. There's a couple tags that come in the package, but I'm going to engrave something for our doggy Frankie, which is actually perfect timing because his dog tag broke. So I think this would be a great time to engrave something just for him. Yeah. In xTool Creative Space, I've got this little bone tag that is on the screen, so I am going to just make sure my settings are correct for the silver bone dog tag, and then height raised, no, I do not have it on the triangular prism, so that's good to go. So now I want to insert some font. I'm going to type his name, which is Frankie, make sure that I have the correct font and sizing, and then get to engraving. Like I mentioned before, if you have a specialty font that you've downloaded and you are using in your design, your Creative Space is going to be able to recognize that font. So this is Chicken Pie. It's one of my favorite fonts, and I'm actually going to use that for his dog tag. So I'm just going to position it and maybe alter it with the orientation just a little bit so that it fits right on the tag. Make sure I have engrave set, and I'm just going to use the xTool selected reference parameters and get to engraving. All right, let's see how this turned out. Oh, this turned out great. Let me scoop it up. It came out wonderfully. Frankie, you have a tag. You have a tag. Between projects, I'm just going to take some rubbing alcohol, just household rubbing alcohol on a paper towel and just clean out the interior, make sure I remove any residue and make sure that we are ready for the next project and the machine is clean. I'm going to make some stocking tags for our kids, so I went ahead and put this wood into the machine on the triangular prisms, so I'm just going to close that and then start designing. I've got 4 stocking tags I need to make. I'm going to start by making my stocking tags with my kids' names. I need 4 total, and what I really want to do is engrave the names and then cut out the outline with like a circle to where I can put some ribbon and tie on the stocking tags to the stockings. So first I'm going to put all of the names, and I'm just going to use the first text that comes up, Arial. I think that's perfectly fine for what I'm trying to do, nothing fancy. And I'm going to make sure that I have the names set to engrave because I'm not trying to score them or cut them. I do want to engrave them though. And with xTool's Creative Space, there is an outline offset option where you can set the distance, and this is where I'm going to cut out the shape around the engraving for the name tag. This happened to me a couple times during this project. I still don't understand what happened. I needed to start over, but I learned to save my project before I went to go process or before I did too many steps, so that way I wasn't losing any progress. Here is my One Son Jackson stocking tag. I love the way that this one came out. I'll show you some of the other ones that I had come out when I separated the engraving and cutting process. Turned out differently, but I ended up fixing those by doing it as an all-in-one. So I'm going to take these out and look at them. It looks like Frankie's cut pretty evenly. Zoe's maybe too, but Max's cut kind of high for where the engraving is. Okay, so here I did a full engrave and cut all in one design, and it came out so much nicer. I really like the way that this came out, and I'll show you. It's a little bit of a different size. Here is what it looks like when you engrave and cut all in one. Much better and more accurate, I guess. I just was having trouble with the software crashing on me for a minute there. So here is what the tags look like here on the stocking, and here's the old ones that I had. I think these are so much cuter, and they look so much more high quality than these do. As fun as these were to make, they were kind of rough, and you can tell this was done with my Cricut. Edges are kind of ragged in some places. And then here with the laser cut, they're very smooth, nice finish. This is so much nicer. I love how this turned out. Now I'm going to use some permanent vinyl that I have. It's Cricut brand, to make a vinyl lettering label for my mother-in-law's gift. It's a Stanley cup. I'm using one of the light grip mats that came with the xTool M1. It's sticky on both the front and the back. That way it doesn't move at all, and it is secure within the bottom of the machine. And you can see I have the blade and the housing secured in. Here is my mother-in-law's vinyl name on her Stanley cup. I think it turned out great. It looks wonderful. I don't think it's going to last forever, but it was a cool project to see how the blade cut the vinyl. For my final project, I got this cutting board. It's medium bamboo from Big Lots for about $7.99, so I just want to try engraving on it. I just set it down right here, and this open plane, I've removed the bottom. There's 5 screws that hold in the metal bottom, so I removed those. Put this in here, and I do have my machine on the riser blocks, all 4 on this level here. I'm going to close the top and start designing. Here's my cutting board with the camera in the machine. I'm actually going to go and do my husband's logo for his business. So I'm going to select image. Here's my downloads. This is his logo. I'm going to open that. Yes, scale it to fit on canvas. And I'm just going to position it here. And I just want to note that it is on engrave. And I have tested this out before, so I'm actually going to put it on 100. keep it at the 80 speed with one pass. Right now I'm framing out the design. I like to do this before I start engraving or cutting just to make sure that the positioning of the design is where I want it on the object I'll be engraving on. Now I'm going to do a time-lapse video for you to show you start to finish. This was about 92 minutes sped up, and I did this with my phone. I set my phone right on top of the lid that is kind of see-through so that you guys can see from start to finish what the engraving process looks like. Here is the finished board. It looks great. I'm just gonna clean it up with some food grade mineral oil, but it came out wonderful. This was such a fun project to do, the cutting board. I'm really interested to see in the future what using actual wood cutting boards would be like, because bamboo is a grass, not a wood. And testing out the engraving, I definitely could have gotten away with going lighter with the engraving power, but I did want something that was going to be really bold and stand out a lot. So that's why I went with 100, but I think you could definitely go as low as maybe even 50 and still get a great engraving result. This is like a big laser plus a Cricut had a baby. Overall, this was such a great experience that I've had with my first laser from xTool. The M110 watt is a phenomenal laser cutting machine, as you guys have seen from the projects that I've featured. I'm so excited to test this out further, make more videos featuring different xTool M1 10 watt projects for you guys. If you have any requests, please let me know in the comments below. Overall, I think this is a great cutting machine. The one issue that I had was the software with certain projects would just go blank. I would have to exit and then restart a project. So that was probably my only bump in the road that I ran into. So I've learned to, before I go to process the design, I will save it to make sure that I don't have to start all over again. But that's honestly, when you're creating and crafting and you're making something in software, that's a step that you should automatically be doing anyways, just in case something like that happens. And it only happened a number of times, maybe 2 or 3 times, but it was kind of frustrating to encounter. But other than that, and this is just me being totally honest and a little nitpicky, great machine, great product, and I can't recommend it enough. It's been a great beginner laser machine to test and try and make projects on.